Welcome everyone. Just a moment, I will remove the logo and welcome everyone to this week in Svelte for the today installment of this week in Svelte. I am Paolo. I will be your host for today, and today we will have some very nice snippets to grasp for the today installment. Sorry, I'm blubbering. So let's start. Let's dive right into. So the agenda will be the usual agenda. So we will have the changelog, then a small quick fact and announcement that is actually from the last week, but we will repeat this announcement very often during this time, and I will show you why later. We will have a community showcase today. I don't think we will have discussion and question and answer today unless you guys come up with something. We are always open. In the description, you can find the link if you want to join StreamYard to participate in the episode. Feel free to do it. We accept everyone. And I'm highlighting this comment now because I am loving SvelteKit and we love SvelteKit too. And also, let's welcome Syntax, which is the very famous podcast, which is now also on YouTube. So hi Scott and hi Wes, and let's dive right into. So as usual, we are using Svelte changelog, which again it's a website that you can visit, and it's svelte-changelog.vercel.app. Which is very good for us because it goes back exactly 1 week, and you also have the rest of the releases, but the only open one are the one from 1 week ago, which is where we left. So 8 days ago, we left here. We don't have a Svelte 4 release. Oh no, we actually have a Svelte 4 release. But we have some Svelte 5 release, and I think some of them are really interesting. So I screamed over them, and I will showcase to you. So, for example, one very interesting one is this throw validation error when binding to each argument in runes mode. So this is kind of a technical one, but basically, if you are looping over a for each inside, like so, you're doing each array as item, you cannot bind to the item directly. You have to bind to item at I. So it's just a small thing, but they throw a validation error now, so you actually cannot do it. So I guess we can also try. So if you go to Svelte 5 preview, let me see what's this. So if we have a script and we have an array, so let r it's equal to $state 1 2 3 4 5, and if we try to do each r as item, and we try to bind to an input, for example, bind value item, we should be getting a validation error. And we actually get it. Cannot reassign or bind to each block argument in runes mode. Use the array index variable instead. So we can do these, and we can do r at I. And now we actually have, and this is important because like if we do var dump here, it's var dump, and if we actually dump the array, you can see that by changing these 24, I'm actually changing that. This will not happen in the other case. So that's why they changed this, and it's always useful to have errors. So it's good. Let's see some other interesting change. Improve. Sorry. Okay, this is one important one. Like I don't remember if it was last week, but some week ago there was a new rune which is $derived.call, which was used to basically pass a function to derived, and the return value of that derived will be the actual derived value. And they actually changed it, so it's a breaking change. Wow, 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 wow. To replace it, and they actually did it for a good reason, because derived.call is very very similar to function.call, which is an actual thing in JavaScript. So they want to avoid any possible confusion for the people, and so they changed it with derived.by, which is also read very nice. So if we go to the Svelte 5 preview again, let me remove all of this stuff. It reads very well. Like you can do let doubled, it's equal derived by, and you can pass a function, and you can return count times 2 times 3. And so this reads very well, because you want to let doubled be derived by this function. So it reads very well. It's cool, and it's shorter, which is cool. Let's move to the other one. This is the Svelte 4 release about check that the component wasn't instantiated in connection callback. The structured derived object values. This is interesting. Also prevent infinite loop when writing to a store using a shorthand. So this was probably a bug that was submitted. Let's see what this has to do. Now this is fine. This is cool. So this is also like a very fun thing. If you want to see how a PR change stuff, they will most likely add a test for it. So inside your test, you can see how basically everything works. So basically now you can do this, which is very cool. So let's actually try this, because it's very cool. And actually, yeah, this is a log. Let's do Svelte 5 preview. Again, I have to remove all of these. And if we passed all of these here, and we do console log instead of these, clear these, and now we can see that, like, even if I'm destructuring these A, B, C into A1, B1, and C1, when I click these, I'm actually getting, like, I'm reading A1 here, I'm writing to A, and I'm actually getting back. It's a nice pattern. You can do stuff like that. And 512 Anubis said, I wonder why they couldn't just kind of overload derived and recognize whether an expression was passed or a function. And there is a nice comment from Rich Harris himself inside the PR that said that if he was the king of programming, overload would have been illegal. This is a strong opinion, obviously, but I think it's actually right. Like, having an overload, a function overload, is something that you should need pretty careful. Like, you should be pretty careful, because it can very easily lead to bugs. For like, it's difficult to explain to people, it's difficult to grasp immediately, so it can very much lead to bugs. So they decided to skip it and just add a dot by. So thank you for the question, though. Okay, so we can move to the next bit of the, because SvelteKit is still stuck to SvelteKit 2.5.0. I mean, it's just so perfect, like they will never touch it again. So let's move to the announcement part of these. So I will put up a banner just for the showcase. which is quick fact and announcement. And again, the reason why we will talk about this quite a bit is because it's Svelte Summit period. I don't know how to to express it, but it will happen in April 27. And if you want, you can submit a talk. You just need to connect to your GitHub account and you can submit a talk. And we will see, like, the more talk are submitted, the better they will be at the Svelte Summit. So submit so that on April 27, 2024, we can see the best, the creme de la creme of the speakers. So this was a very quick announcement. And now it's time for the community showcase. So I will invite Gabor to join the stage with me, which is this guy. And fun fact, it's actually a colleague of mine. He works at Main Matter, just like me. And it's here to present one of the library that he's working on for Main Matter. So I will actually remove my screen from the stage. I will add Gabor screen on stage. And as you can see, like, this is the library's Svelte promise model. And now Gabor is here to tell everything about it. And I will leave the stage for him. In the meantime, if you have questions about the library, if you want to talk, feel free to write it in chat. And I will pick them up when he finishes his presentation.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. As Paolo mentioned, we are colleagues at Main Matter. And Main Matter is basically, Paolo might have explained it earlier, it's a consultant firm and has a long history with Ember.js. And also have a long history with Ember. But we also love Svelte, as hopefully it shows. And one of the things that we were missing from Svelte when we were working with models is the promise model thing that we had in Ember. We already have another library, Ember Promise Models, and this one is a port of that library. And let me show you how it works. Often, what you want from a model, for example, if you want to present a model, is not only just render it, but also get a value back. And there are many approaches to this problem, but this one I think is a bit different than the most. Let me go through the how it's installed and what the most common use cases are. So first, as you would expect, you install Svelte promise models. And later on, you add it to your main layout. What we want to do is render a bunch of components as model dialogues. There is that matching white.svelte, which is a component for showing a dialogue if someone has invited me to visit chess, apparently. And the other one is confirming if I want to start a chess game. And the other one is to confirm if I want to start a gym session. So let's go to the main layout. First, what we need to do is to import a model container. This is important because all the models that are rendered are going to be the direct children of this model container. And of course, since it comes with default styling out of the box, we also have to import the style.css. But of course, it's optional. You can have your own style.css, or you can override practically anything. I'll show it to you later. And the other thing, so the next one would be to actually open this invitation. Now it does nothing. What I want to do is to type in a name. For example, let's say I want to type in Ron, and open a model, and have the result of the model back here. This is here in page.svelte. Here's the model result. Here's the name what I want to provide for the model, and I want to click this button and call trigger invitation. What I have to do is to import the open model function from Svelte promise models and have assigned the result of the open model to model result. And of course, if I since I want to pass the name of whoever invites me, I also pass this as an argument. So the open model takes the first an argument of so the first argument is the component I want to render as a model, and the second one is what I want to pass as data for the model. And as you can see, there is that export let name, so it's just a regular prop that you would expect. And since I uncommented everything, I think it should work. So if I say Harry and I trigger invitation, then here's the model that appears. And of course, I can say I can accept it, in which case the result will be true, as we can see here in the matching white. Because how the closing is handled is that I call the close model function, which is implicitly passed to all the models for when used with the open model function. So what I only have to do is to provide basically a return value to return something from the model through the close model function. And of course, I can type something else. For example, let's say, hey, there's a reason, no reason. And then this is going to be the return value. But there's one additional thing. One of the challenges with models, as a matter of fact, challenges for our users basically, but eventually for us as well, because we have to handle the use case, is that, as you can see, if I tap through the page, I can tap through links and whatnot. But if I open the model, I should not be able to use my tab key and get back to the parent page, because that's a really crappy user experience. But luckily, this is handled automatically. So whenever a model is opened, the focus is basically trapped, and everything that that comes to navigation between inputs is scoped down to that specific model. And so there is no, it's impossible to escape. Basically, it can be disabled, but of course it's a user experience. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the first use case. And all I just to show it again, all I had to do is basically evade the value of the model. So there is there's nothing else to do. There is no intermediate values and whatnot. It's just a promise. Let's go to chess then. So if I want to start a new chess game, of course I have to add the same thing to the page. I also call open model, and I also assign the model result to and render a different component, this time start chess game. And the same thing happens, right? I get back the same data because it has the same return value. But there's also a link inside that component, which would lead to the /gym route. But let's try how this works. So let's go back to chess, start a new game, and now I navigate away to the gym section. Oh crap! The model just stayed on the page, which is sometimes what we really want. But often you will want to dismiss the model if the parent component gets unrendered, because, for example, it's if that model has meaning in relation to that specific page, then there is no reason to show it when navigating away. So this is true for example, if I'm clicking a back and forward button, then this happens too. Now, in order to prevent that, what we can do is, and I added this to the Gene page, is the first not import the open model function, but instead the use model context, and then create a model context which returns an object of which the one of the object members is the open model function. And now this actually hooks onto the current components on destroy hook. So whenever if I start a gym session and I navigate away, this actually leads to the chest route. So if I click this, this will get removed. I mean, it will get dismissed, and it's different than just being removed, because if this model was just a child element of the current route, it would just disappear immediately. But as you can see, there is an actual animation that is playing, even if the route is are rendered and the model is dismissed. So there are multiple use cases, but of course, for example, if this match invite is a good showcase for not having this functionality. For example, if I go home and let's assume that this invitation is triggered by something else, I would be free to navigate elsewhere, because this is sort of happens that I'm my finger is just clicking on the back button or forward button, so I navigating away accidentally, I would say. But since this, for example, an invite for a game, and if I have a lobby that has multiple routes, I would not want to destroy that. So this is, for example, a valid use case for having this functionality of displaying a model on multiple routes. Of course, models can be opened from other models. In this case, it will be stacked on top of each other. You can check out the examples on sveltepromisemodels.com. For example, if I open a model, I can open another model on top of that, and it's all handled. So there is no additional code that's required. The last thing I want to add, or maybe I forgot customization. Customization is done by adding, for example, so everything in Svelte promise models, I mean the styling part, animations and whatnot, are done with CSS variables. So if I want to update it, make the model a little bit slower or a lot slower, then I would probably do just add this, override this CSS variable to 3 seconds, which is excruciatingly slow, but at least it's going to be visible. So whenever I trigger this model, this is going to be really, really slow. And that's it. And there is one other thing that I think that that's important to TypeScript users, is that since the library is written using TypeScript, and it's 100% type safe, you can import the close model function type inside one of the models you want to open. So then when you export the close model function, you can define what it will return when it's called. So if you are opening a model from here, it will be a string 100%, because then I specified that the return value of the model is going to be a string. And if I try to specify something else, it's going to be a type error, because it's string. It can be omitted as it's written in here, but it's up to you really. And I think this is all I have. Hope you like it, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. I hope I can answer most of them.
Thank you. And yeah, I don't know if anybody has question about this. It's very cool, in my opinion. It's cool that you also told about the accessibility part, because that's something that is sometimes overlooked, especially with dialogues. And we are getting just a comment.
Thank you. That's great to hear that other people like that too.
Yeah, I think it's something that people are liking. I think it's an interesting approach because generally, like you you tend to create a component, while in this case you are actually creating a function that open the model. So it's interesting. And there's also, I think, an interesting approach. Oh, there is a question, and it's where
Oh,
do we pass in information
right,
into the model?
right. Let me go back to Svelte Lab, and so here is. Let's go back to the root page. So whenever I open the model, let's say name should be yay. So this is going to be just a string and nothing else. So this is how we pass information to the model. So that whenever I open the invitation, it's going to be yay. Oh, this is still very slow. And so this name is basically just a prop of the model that is opened. So if I go back to oh no, sorry, yeah, that matching white. So this is just a prop for the component. So it's an equivalent of rendering this specific component as let's go back to this page. So if you would not use open model, you would render matching white like this. It would be matching white name equals yay, or anything basically. And sure enough, you can also render these components just inside the DOM. So it's not like it's just it's tied to Ember Promise models. It's just a component, and the only thing Ember Promise models does is that it wraps it inside the necessary elements to make it usable.
And I will mute you because you said 2 times Ember Promise Model. You should say Svelte Promise Model.
Oh, sorry. right. I've literally been using Ember Promise models for many years. So it's Svelte Promise models. Actually, there is a PR in Svelte Promise models because I accidentally my muscle memory typed Ember Promise models, so I had to replace that string later on.
It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, it's very cool. And again, it's interesting because there's also an interesting approach, in my opinion, to portaling, because the portaling is another stuff that most of libraries that deals with dialogues has to do, and generally is done via like I don't know. For example, Melt UI does it with an action and stuff like that. Which is interesting, but I mean, I also think that these like rendering a component that then render everything inside the body is actually an interesting approach to portaling. Okay, so
yep.
we're getting another love for you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Gabor, for joining me on stream. Thank you for showing this library, and I will see you again. Sorry, in the next days.
Yes, thanks for having me, and see you everyone, and have fun with Ember Promise, Svelte Promise models. If you happen
Obviously,
to run
like everybody, feel free to like see the library and open issues and stuff like that. As usual, like being a good open source citizen is also opening issues.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Gabor, again.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, guys. We are back to be us. And actually, as I've said, we don't have any discussion or question and answer for today. Except, I mean, I actually have. This is an interesting one that I actually learned basically yesterday. I want to show you because I mean, it's actually something that it catch me by surprise, despite being quite used to SvelteKit. I didn't know. So the question that I want to answer for you is, how can I use the page if I am the page.url page.url store if I'm pre-rendering my application. And I want to show you with Svelte Lab because it's quite easy to do. So one of the problem with these is, let's say that you want to use the store. So import page from $up/stores. And let's say that you want to, I don't know, use the page to read a search params, for example. So name, for example. You can do $page dot URL dot search params dot I think it's dot search param dot get name. I want to remove these, I want to remove all of these, and I want to print name, which in this case is null because I don't have a search params. So let's add a link that will just go to /name equal Paolo, which is my name. And I will do this, go to Paolo. If I click go to Paolo, this will add the search params, and now I can read from the search params. Normal stuff, like it's very easy to do. Now, if I want to build this application, I can do npm run build. Right now, this will work just fine because I'm not pre-rendering my application. So if I do npm run preview, now I'm looking at the preview of this application, and I can still go to Paolo, and I still get the same result. Now, this is a fairly basic website, right? So I don't want to actually build the whole server. I just want to host these as a static website on a CDN. So to do that, what you can do is in your Plus layout, actually you can actually do on the Plus server, you can export const pre-render equal true. And this will tell SvelteKit that you want to pre-render this page. This means that during the build time, SvelteKit will actually visit your application, get the HTML back, and actually use that HTML to create an index.html that then you can host somewhere. Very, very cool. And if I run npm run dev, this works just fine because we are in dev mode. But that's the change. If I do npm run build this time, this will fail. And why it will fail? Let's see. Okay, SvelteKit is telling us that it's failing because cannot access URL search params on a page with pre-rendering enabled. Now, I always assume that this was always true because it makes sense. Like during pre-rendering, you don't have the page URL because there's no URL. Like SvelteKit is actually running your code without a URL. But this is kind of a bummer because I'm not interested in the URL. I'm interested in the search params in general, in the name. I don't care if it's not pre-rendered because I actually want to just react to these. So how can I do this? And this is something that I learned literally like yesterday or stuff like that. If we go to the SvelteKit documentation, we can search for building. And it's a variable that it's exported from $up/environment, which is the same module that where you can import dev, which is telling you if you're running in dev mode or in production, where you can import browser, which is like it's the variable that tells you if you're running in the browser or in the server, and version, which is the version of your app, it's the version of your app. And then you have building. And building is when SvelteKit analyzes your app during the build step by running it. During this process, building is true. This also applies during pre-rendering. So this is very interesting because now I can do import building from $up/environment, and I can conditionally access these. So I can do building and this. This should work. It should work already fine. Like if I try to run npm run dev, it works just fine. But now if I run build, I'm not actually accessing search params. Oh, actually, not building. Yeah, not building and search params. How it was working before. So by doing this, not building and page URL search params, now during the build, I'm not actually accessing the search params. So I built my application, and now if I run npm run preview, it will actually work the same. I really didn't thought that this was working. So thank you for. I actually discovered this because someone opened an issue on my repo for SvelteKit search params, and they asked me to use this building to make me build my application even if it's pre-rendering. And I didn't thought of these since today, and so I wanted to share it with you today. So now you know. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I think we reached the end, and so we had our question and answer. And thank you, everyone, for showing up. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And we will have to see if next week there will be a This Week in Svelte. We will let you know soon enough if there's no one. But otherwise, I can see you either next week or the weeks next again. Thank you, everybody, for showing up, and enjoy your Svelte week.